Viewers, welcome to this special broadcast. I'm Pratibha Chandran, and it's a big day today. The United States has officially entered the Israel-Iran war, hitting the nuclear sites within Iran. What does this mean? What kind of an escalation are we now going to see? The US President Donald Trump says it's now time for peace, but Iran has said that it will retaliate. Let's get you the updates of what has happened. First up, let's begin with breaking updates coming in. The latest reaction of the US President Donald Trump as he issues a clear warning to Iran. Any retaliation will be met by force greater than what was witnessed tonight. After 3 nuclear sites in Iran have been obliterated completely, Iran has vowed retaliation, after which the US President Donald Trump has said that if Iran retaliates, it will be met with force greater than what was witnessed tonight. In fact, even in his official address, Donald Trump ended by saying that after this, it is going to be very easy for the United States to hit multiple sites within Iran, saying that what was witnessed tonight was the attack of the United States on Iran in the nuclear
Navita Kumar is
sites.
now joining the broadcast. Pratibha, good morning, Navita. The war is officially now America's. Trump has decided to launch a strike on 3 military sites, nuclear sites to be precise. We saw this coming, didn't we?
Absolutely. President Donald Trump had said that if Iran did not stop in its track, there would be American interference. And when he had said 2 days is when we should watch out for, it was clear that the weekend would be the time that U.S. would strike Iran. The situation in the Middle East, in West Asia, actually gets worse. We have Yemen coming out, standing with Iran. We have Israel and the United States. Already warnings going out from Yemen about the waters around it. Clearly, a war in the middle of peace talks that President Trump had spoken about doesn't really show too much commitment to peace at the moment. Nobel Peace Prize recommended by Pakistan, where does that go, would be a big question at the moment. But the situation gets even more complicated. Indians now will have to wait to be evacuated from Iran as Iran closes its airspace with this kind of a war situation. Clearly, bringing our own people back home becomes even more challenging. Israel and the United States standing together, but are we moving towards a worsening of a situation, because warnings are flying thick and fast between Iran and the United States? U.S. now saying if there's any retaliation, we will come back and damage more parts of Iran. And that cannot be seen as an empty threat at the moment. Pranesh, wars, if anybody was trying to stop wars across the world, as President Donald Trump had said, then we're not seeing an end to this war anytime soon. Ukraine, Russia still at war. Israel, Iran, with U.S. entering, gets more complicated. What would be China and Russia's position on this entire issue? And in the middle of all of this, the United Nations, just what is the role of the United Nations is the question many people across the world are asking. There is absolutely no disciplining of nuclear facilities that have been growing in the world, and peace seems to be a total commodity that has vanished from the world. Clearly a difficult situation the world is facing. War never is good for the world. Economies will bear an impact. Iran, oil-producing nation, how will it impact oil prices across the world is something we will have to keep our eyes on. But as of now, situation getting more and more complicated, and clearly at this moment we will have to just sit back and be very, very careful on what these developments in West Asia will mean for India.
You're right. Pratibha has a question,
Yes.
but before that, you were talking about the United Nations, Navita, and over the last few weeks, the kind of inaction that we've seen on part of the United Nations, it will be safe to say that the United Nations has become a joke. The United Nations is yet to even break its silence on what's going on. It's been, 3 hours already. The US president has spoken. There's commentary all around. But you are right. The United Nations will have to perhaps rethink its role, and the countries in the world will have to reassess what the UN can do, cannot do.
Absolutely. I mean, there have been two big occasions where there were expectations of the United Nations and its bodies to play a very, very critical role. One was during the pandemic. We saw how the WHO literally failed all of us at that time. And now we have wars springing up across various parts of the world, and the United Nations seems to be in a time warp. Clearly, out of sorts, no specific agenda that it seems to have, no bringing people on the table for conversations, no dissuasion. Why are countries actually contributing so much to run the United Nations if it is going to be absent in world challenges of this kind? Is a question many are asking. But clearly, as somebody who's looking at the entire situation in West Asia, I am going to look at our region, and in our region, India, which is a country which needs to grow fast. India, a country that is challenging the Western dominance as far as economic power is concerned. Wars can never be good news for those countries that want to develop, that want their people to move forward, and for their economies to do better. And this clearly cannot be any advantage to India. We're looking at the situation in West Asia. The entire region becomes more and more unstable. United States getting into this war complicates the situation rather than simplifying it. And clearly, no war will end without retaliation. So we'll have to brace ourselves to wait and watch what kind of retaliation actually happens and where the United States will go from here. Unpredictable times that we live in, clearly not something that we would have chosen. Remember, India has shown its maturity and extreme restraint in the manner in which we really held out our military confrontation with Pakistan. The intelligent thing to do, despite whatever anybody might say about why did we go in for a ceasefire so soon. The fact of the matter is, wars don't benefit anybody. A message needed to be conveyed was conveyed, and then we adopted a situation of restraint, something we are not seeing happening in West Asia. With the United States now entering this war, we will have to wait and watch. My guess, situation will get a lot worse before it gets better.
Okay, I just want to ask you, since you mentioned President Trump as well, ma'am, this actually brings the United States military into active warfare in the Middle East. This was in complete contrast to what President Trump had said. Even while he was campaigning to be the president of the United States, he was against the United States entering any war where the US is not directly involved. Now, after the attacks on the nuclear sites in Iran, the US President Donald Trump in his message has said, now it's time for peace. So do you see that on the anvil at all, or is it going to be retaliation which is going to send the entire world economy tumbling yet again?
It's very important that we all understand that predicting President Donald Trump मुश्किल ही नहीं नामुमकिन है. Nobody has succeeded in predicting him. I wouldn't have that, because his statements and his agenda changes by the minute. So to think that I can predict what Trump is going to do next would be foolhardy. All I can say is he's been talking about peace. He's been talking about ending wars in different parts of the world to now entering a war and participating in a war. Well, we've seen flip-flops in the past, but this is really the king of all flip-flops. We'll have to wait and watch. We cannot predict what President Donald Trump is going to do. All I can say is that at the moment, it is going to be a world on the edge. We're as close to World War III as we ever were. And we will have to wait the unpredictability of the United States in its present regime to see how this moves forward. Will Iran retaliate in the manner that it has already spoken about? And if there is retaliation, will President Donald Trump hit back again? These are all issues that we can only hold our breath and wait and watch out for. Predicting Trump would be as foolhardy as saying that the world is a peaceful world today. I wouldn't hazard that guess.